I haven't been totally honest today. I am trying to function with a concussion right now. Isamaya. I'm not sure if I swore it up and down on camera, but I swore it up and down to myself that I was not going to invest my money in the new Isamaya collection called Wild Star. And now I'm looking back going, who was that khaki? Why did I look at this collection and say, oh, that is absolutely not for me, when industrial apparently was? I stand entirely corrected. That's the thesis of this entire video, and I've only had my own first impressions off camera of this. I'm just talking specifically about the color story because, like, I invented the sensation, right, that is the very esoteric genre of dystopian cowgirl fortune teller. And like, we're getting dystopian cowgirl fortune teller out of this. We're at least getting cowgirl. So I have the entire collection here and I was like, oh, I guess I'll just buy it on a whim. I am learning that I have no idea what I like. There's like definitely a fantasy self happening here, and I discovered that with the entire Lisa Eldridge collection and like where I ended up landing on it. Like the khaki that I think that I am and then the khaki that I actually end up being in practice. And so I want to start off by humbling myself before what is actually a really cool, unique collection, especially because like industrial was so cool in like a goth sense from Isamaya, but this is actually just like wearable cool. So anyway, that was my long and winding intro that basically spoiled all of my initial thoughts on this, but we're going to apply this together today, and I'm going to give you my like second impressions of it. And the only way that I've applied this so far is like with my fingers in my downstairs bathroom with no complexion product on or anything. I was just like smearing it, smacking it on, just seeing what the textures were like. Today, we're going to turn a look. So let's go ahead and jump in. All right, I'm gonna zoom through my complexion real quick because you already know what it is. It is the Chanel Sublimage Le Teint and the Chanel Sublimage Concealer. And I think we'll hold off on powdering or anything until we're done with the eye look because the glitter is gonna fall out. It's just going to, and I wanna be able to clean up. I'm gonna prime my eyeballs because, like I said, this is a lot of texture in this eyeshadow palette, and it's gonna get real fast. Okay, let's talk about Isamaya now. So Isamaya Ffrench is a British makeup artist who is putting out these collections very much in like an old school fashion house style where they're coming out seasonally kind of, and they are meant to be these, you know, places in time that are like entirely conceptual, and then they are going to eventually go away. It's not something that is going to, you know, be like an Anastasia palette where it's just there forever kind of thing, or at least that's the idea. And I think that that's why people are polarized between the first two releases, being the industrial release, which was obviously like very dark, very goth, very like textural, and then the new one, which is Wild Star. I don't know, it's a little bit campy, a cowgirl kind of thing. So everything has these horses on them. And the thing that initially kind of repelled me from this palette when I first saw it like pop up on social media as like coming soon was how these shades are out of order. And it's like not necessarily about like, oh, I want to put them in order. It's just like from a color theory standpoint, it's nice to be able to compare the temperatures of things that look similar in the pan, like the browns or the pinks, you know, because there are more than one of them. But as I got it in my hands, I'm able to wrap my head around it. I'm able to adapt. It's not that big of a deal. But we have 12 shades here. I'll swatch them for you. The only one I haven't touched yet actually is the black or the very, very dark gray in the middle. Just because I literally forgot it was there. Like it just kind of doesn't seem like an eyeshadow to me. And I literally like, as I was talking, I was like, oh yeah, there's another eyeshadow right there. So let's swatch them real quick. All right. There we have the swatches from Wildstar. One of the things that I realized right when I started touching these for the first time was like, oh, we've never experienced an Isamaya matte before. She has these kind of like putty mattes that are in the industrial palette, but these are the first really gorgeous powder mattes that we've gotten from her, and they're really dry, really finely milled, very like hard pressed and packed, almost like a Hindash eyeshadow. That's really what they remind me of. They don't feel like they're going to fall out very much, but again, this is like a second impressions essentially. I haven't even applied these with a brush yet. You're gonna get to experience it with me. And the other surprising thing was, I don't know, you have like a few of these what you would call kind of full saturation shades, mainly just like this satin right here, this bedroom eyes color, which you always get me with a bedroom eyes brown. It's just a really great kind of like warm red brown with a little bit of like a gold shift to it. It's just a really, really easy shade for me to wear. But other than like that and maybe these two shimmers down here, I'm really trying to block my eyes out so this will focus. There we go. So aside from those, what you'll see is that actually the remaining shades are all really like sheer, almost wet look toppers, which I find to be a really exciting choice because you start to feel less intimidated by what might be perceived as some intimidating shades because they can all kind of like, you know, wash, right? It's like I don't have to make a hard and fast decision or it'll end up looking like mud. You know, it's a little bit like the Utopian Dream palette from Pat McGrath in that sense, where, you know, you just kind of can smash a few different things on your eyes. And if you're working in the kind of sheer textured shades, you're just going to end up sort of building a mystery. And the other cool thing that I discovered as I started touching these is that it's kind of like the Urban Decay Stoned Vibes palette in the sense that you have these really fascinating textures, but the mattes that were chosen for this palette are in and of themselves super basic, like extraordinarily intuitive for building light and shadow, just building an illusion and then being able to editorialize on top of that. So there's not a whole lot of like intimidation for really any makeup user as it pertains to the mattes because, you know, if you're fair like I am, you can lean on these two right here and this for depth. And if you are deeper in tone, you can use all four, you know? I mean, I can still get away with using the black, but I'm sure it's going to be something I'm very ginger with. All right, so I don't know how this is about to go, but I do know that I want to start with this one right here. I don't know the names. Oh boy, yikes. I hope that they are organized by, see, there's like no way to know because it's like, am I looking at this and then this? Or am I looking at this and it's through? You know what I mean? Anyway, your guess is as good as mine. I'm not going to refer to the shade names because I am guaranteed to get them wrong. It's like a 50-50 chance. And I probably won't remember which method I chose, and so it's like a 100% chance. So I'm starting with the matte taupe shade. Not taupe, tan. I do have something in my eye. I don't know what I'm going to do about it. It is what it is. So the mattes are, like I said, extremely soft, definitely more pigmented than a Hindash pressed pigment just because his are meant to go all over the face and so they do build a little bit more slowly. But I am getting that really lovely kind of like pick up without the kick up, you know? But that's also why we didn't powder is because I am not counting on that being the case with the shimmers. So this little baby, actually, I don't know exactly what it retails for. We'll talk about the prices in the end, but like when I give y'all my preliminary, why do I look like I'm so short? A girl is not short. There we go. Hi. I just know that the entire collection cost me, I think, $250. Y'all, for Christmas, my husband asked me what I wanted, and in an absolute power move, I sent him a link to a pair of Brother Valley's boots that were discontinued that I found on Vestiaire Collective that are astrology themed. And he bought them for me and they arrived today and they are giving me life. Like I haven't been totally honest today. I am trying to function with a concussion right now. A mild concussion, and I spent all day yesterday in bed. but a concussion nonetheless. And that's also why I feel like this is a disjointed video. I'm a little bit spacey. I'm not feeling particularly present in my body, and I feel like you can definitely tell. Like the intro was real scattered, and I feel kind of like I'm having an out-of-body experience, but I just wanted to get on camera and I wanted to play with this makeup. So I really was planning on not filming today, and then I'm using the white, by the way. It's not white, it's like a warm cream color, but it's making a really nice smooth opaque kind of all over finish here. But yeah, then those boots came and I was like, oh, I'm feeling my proverbial oats right now. So even though they're not on camera, just thank the Brother Belly's boots for me being on camera today. And if you want to see them, check out my vlogs. You know what? I'm a little disappointed in YouTube's memberships, because they really they'll be like, you can't watch this without joining this channel. And I'm like, well, then give them a button. Like, how easy would it be to just be like, you can't watch this without it, but if you push this button, it'll charge you 99 cents and then you can watch all of them. But it doesn't do that. It's like, then you have to go and like navigate yourself back to the channel, and then you have to hit the join button, and then you have to choose like a joining tier, a membership tier, and all this crap. It's like, some of it doesn't appear on mobile at all, and some of it doesn't appear on my account for whatever reason. And so I think that there are a lot of people who like have no idea that I even have vlogs. And I get now why people use Patreon, because the YouTube membership is it's so not obvious. So that's just how I feel right now. It's a little bit frustrating, but I have been sharing those things on my vlogs, and it's only 99 cents to watch my vlogs. Not 99 cents a vlog, 99 cents to become a member, and I think, you know, a month. So we're already in extraordinarily practical territory as it pertains to the way I like to do my eye makeup, you know, like that's very everyday for me. If I had an office to go to, I would wear those colors to the office. It's about to take a hard left from that, but at the moment, it is definitely quite wearable. All right, let's make some choices. I'm trying to see like what would go with this, and I think I'm gonna go brown and pink. So I am gonna start with that Bedroom Eyes brown because I want y'all to see it. It's just so pretty. And it's also really thin on your finger. It doesn't feel like a Kaja shadow the way that you feel like you're almost picking up, like they're called bouncy shadows, the Kaja ones. You feel like you're picking up something that's a hybrid cream. This is so ultra thin, but it still has so much impact. Now, like, is this the most groundbreaking shadow or color story in the world? Is it like a breathtaking run, do not walk formula? Is it something that truly does not exist in the market? Absolutely not. I compared it to two different things right out of the gate, right? I mean, Utopian Dream, if you have Utopian Dream, I really think that like they're a very similar vibe, but this has much finer shimmer and more shimmers versus the special shades in a Pat McGrath palette that are just very, almost like branded. You know what I mean? Like, you know when someone's wearing Utopian Dream because nothing else looks quite like that. And this is a little bit more versatile, I think. You know what I mean? You're either wearing Pat McGrath or you're not. Like, this is gonna give you lots of different looks. All right, my finger doesn't fit in there and stuff's going everywhere. But how pretty is that? Nice golden tone, so lovely. I'm gonna grab my 207 from BK because it's just this really nice short soft guy, and I'm going to use that to just kind of, you know, softly blend without taking too much product off. And we're doing pretty auspiciously well in the world of Fallout, or lack thereof currently. And now I want to take this next darker shade. Again, I have no idea what it's called. I can go and reference her video to do it, to like, you know which way to navigate it. But I fell down the stairs on Saturday. That's why I have a concussion. I forgot to tell you that part, probably because I have a concussion. But yeah, I'm in a lot of pain right now. I was carrying my child in one arm, he is unharmed, and I was carrying a toy planet that looks just like Mercury in the other hand, and I slid down a bunch of stairs and landed on my back. So I didn't land on my head, but I'm pretty sure I whiplashed myself. It's kind of like if I did that, I'm not sure I would find my way back because my attention span is that much worse today. Like I still haven't mentioned the other things in the collection. You thought Dayquil was bad. Yeah, I think that that's the thing that's really surprising me about this is kind of the like really easy wearability of the colors and the textures, because as much as I passionately love the industrial palette on a conceptual level, and I mean even the execution, the fact is I just don't reach for it as much as I thought that I was going to, and this is so much easier to approach because I do have those foundational shades, right? You know, the browns that make me feel like I'm right inside my comfort zone. I'm just taking, this is the 203. Blur, blur, blur. It's a really nice even blend. And it blends, but it also stays put. And like, I told you the first time I applied it with my fingers. So if it can lay down with your fingers and then spread out and it's matte, like that's a pretty impressive matte formula. Plus look at the way that it builds. I'm still not working in that very, very, very deep dark brown, gray, charcoal, almost black. And the way that I can still punch up the depth of that shadow by just building more of the dark brown, that's impressive. It's so thin. It's such a good thin formula. But it is not like a Lisa Eldridge shadow the way that like, it's, you know, that kind of cream to powder thing that just only reaches a certain level of being opaque. It's like you can get depth. And I haven't even touched the black yet. And I really enjoy a good, impactful, like matte cream shade, you know? It's like I have already built myself the infrastructure here to do really whatever I want next. And if you're one of those people who does like to kind of start at the shimmer and then work your way out so you don't end up with, you know, 15 layers on your eyes, there are so many of these beautiful like sheer shimmer shades in here that if you're not trying to work for an illusion the way that I do, you can just pound one or two of these on your eyeballs and go, you know, throw on some mascara. So in the world of looking vaguely threatening, you know, I think we're gonna go the pink route. And I mean, I'm gonna try and use as many of them as possible. I'm going to start with the really hoppin' crazy one, okay? Again, I have no idea what this is called. But I mean, we're just gonna get kind of like creative here. And you really, as soon as the pink enters the chat, you start to see the Isamaya ad, you know, her promo videos that she made for this. You really start to see that come out. You're like, oh, okay, Wildstar, got it. And like, you don't need this if you're not going for that. There are plenty of gorgeous matte browns out there. You know, that could be a quad in itself. And like the first stuff that I put on, and it doesn't have to be a very expensive little round horse palette from Isamaya. So I'm taking that pink and putting it underneath my eyes, even though I already got it underneath my eyes with my finger. See, we're starting to look kind of weird. And that's what we're going for. Okay, so the next one I'm gonna use, I'm gonna guess, is called, I don't know, I'm using this one. It's a circle, it's really hard. But like, look at the kind of erratic glitter foil you can get from that. But see, look at the fallout. The fallout is there. And I'm also being a little bit wild with it, so I fully understand that, you know, I could be more careful, I could be using a glitter glue, but I also intended for this, you know, I made sure to not powder yet. I'm gonna take a little bit of that, pick it up on a brush, and just shove that into my lower lashes. Picks up like a confetti. It's so awesome. I think it's got kind of like unicorn skin in it. You know what I mean? It's got that Danessa Myricks Infinite Chrome flakiness, but like smaller. And that's why it's falling out. It's because like it's just a very erratically shaped glitter. And then we have this pink right here, which is like this much cooler pink on the shift. So I'm gonna use that to kind of move into my inner corner here. Okay, so I'm starting to feel that subtle warmth that happens when I use like a lid luster from Victoria Beckham that might be a red flag for people who have very sensitive eyes. For me, it's just warm, I notice it, and then it passes. But if that's something like you've used the lid lusters before and you're like, uh-oh, yikes, wash it off because your eyes are super sensitive, skip this, because I definitely think that like this shade right here has whatever that chemical is in it, in that one as well, and maybe more. But like, especially in light of my last video where I just kind of spontaneously decided to share with y'all my, you know, borderline spooky signature eye look, where I kind of try and look sick with some weird like pinks and reds. And then this shows up in the mail. I was like, Khaki, how do you like know yourself so poorly that you're surprised that you like this when it is so much more solidly up your alley than industrial ever was? You know? All right, so pow! That is the lightest shade right here. And it's definitely like a very, I think it's that white green shift, like blonde from Victoria Beckham. Either way, the best way to do this is to dampen a little smudger on the end of an eyeshadow or an eyeliner pencil and dip that into one of these, and it's gonna give you a lot more control for getting in on the inner corner. You see that? And you can get that spotlight. I'm being super cautious about how much I pick up. I do think that it is time to do some of the like darkest color, but I think that gold still belongs in this look. So we're going to have used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of the 12 shades. The only ones that I'm not going to use today are the blue and the purple. 9 plus 2 is 11. Khaki plus Concussion is not making sense at all. And I'm kind of like mixing that with the original kind of pink shift gold, because I think that when you layer them, you end up with like a really gorgeous, again, like inconsistent looking foil. It's a little bit insane. Kind of reminds me of the very underrated Urban Decay Stone Vibes palette, the way that when you layer those, they just absolutely, like, they increase exponentially in their excitement. So that's enough sporkle, I think. And I think that that's a really good demo too of the nature of the sporkle in this one, because you can spread it out really sheerly, like you see it up here or underneath my eyes. And here, I'll just blend that and make it even more like mucky. And you can get something really spangly and wet look, or you can really build the living crap out of it and end up with something that's just like so wildly foiled. All right, let's see how this goes. Let's see if I ruin my entire eye look with this shade. This is me concentrating. That's like, I just go completely silent when I think it's about to go off the rails, you know? Since these blend so well once they actually get on the skin, I just need to stop adding product and blend. There we go. So something that really helps a look like this when it is kind of a little bit spooky is to take something that is, you know, that kind of tan shade and then work it right around that black. And it might even give it a little bit of a glow. I might even go with pink instead. Cause I just wanna make, yeah, I wanna make it glow a little bit. So I'm gonna go with that pink. There we go. Sort of like that. So I'm almost just like mixing a tiny bit of that super bright pink in with the tan to give us something a little bit haunting. I think that that's enough stuff kind of falling down underneath my eyes as well. Yes, we have a little bit of cleanup to do, and it's mainly just from that first pink foil. Okay, so I'm gonna do my contour and my bronzer, and I'm gonna powder a little bit. And then that'll just get us to the highlighter, which I will show you next. I mean, you can't be a wild star without a tan. Okay, so here we have Dazzle Up Highlighter in Sun Chaser. Again, just an absolutely ridiculous component. It's metal, but it's still lightweight. I think the top is plastic, but all this is metal, and it's all been rhinestoned. I mean, it's just ridiculous in the best way possible. Look at this thing. It's giving like Bath and Body Works art stuff body glitter, but classy, if such a thing could exist. It's that same kind of like white shift gold that I was talking about earlier that I have like on my inner corner. And as much as I want to, you know what I mean, put that on like that, I think I am going to exercise some restraint and apply this with a cream brush here, because I do have several textures on. Now, could you use this on bare skin? Yes, I have. And it goes super, super spangly. So be careful. Huh. I feel like I'm not really getting much when I do that. Maybe I do have to just tippy tap that on, because it's quite glittery, but that's just picking the makeup up when I do that. So I'm gonna not do that either. All right, I'm gonna keep going with my original brush idea, but I almost think that maybe it's kind of not supposed to be applied on top of other makeup. I'm not sure. Like, what's the point of I feel like highlighters tend to falter in that respect, you know? It's like they look beautiful in and of themselves, but they just are not very cooperative with other things. And that's I mean, you know, that's fine. That's fine, but I'm not really sure that I don't know. I'm not really sure that I notice it, you know? And it's really hard to get it to be noticeable because it'll start picking the product back up, so. That's a little bit disappointing. It's just tough to work with, you know? And that's definitely something that is, you know, on my rubric of what I grade makeup against. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that something's worth your money if it's hard to use. So I'm going to go through my eyeliner real quick, and then we'll go with the mascara. To the moon. I'm gonna put on my brows too. Decide whether my waterline gets bronze or gold lame from VB. But I'm thinking it's gold lame because gold lame is actually one of the sequin ones. Sequin jewel, the jewel ones, and the jewel ones are sparkly, so yep. I'm not sure that makes that big of a difference, but it's something. Ooh, failed my intelligence test today. Yes, I did. Shocking absolutely no one. Okay, so here we have the Lash Lasso, or as she, and I'm guessing all Brits say, Lasso. This is a really pretty mascara. It's super lightweight. It has a normal wash off, but doesn't get everywhere. And it's not as intense on initial application as her River Lash, which I also have, but I kind of like that. It's meant to be something where you can just keep applying it indefinitely. In fact, it's a little unnerving in ouch, her promo videos where she is like just continuing to apply mascara the entire time, even when she's like riding a mechanical bull, you know, just like stop, stop it, get that away from your eyes, stop it. So the other thing is, like, I highly encourage you to actually grip the horse itself, because if you don't, it's pretty hard to like work with the shape of it. Like I almost just want to rip that daggum thing off because it's like pretty, I don't know, this is fine, but like trying to do the other side is, you're very far from the actual lashes, and that's why I jab myself in the eye. It's really hard to do your other eye with the shape of this lid. It's just not practical. Okay. I'm gonna let those dry, but like, I'm definitely feeling the fantasy right now. Now, let's talk about this here lip combo, because I feel like this is what puts it over the edge of it being a little too much all at once, you know? You really like can't get away from it looking specifically branded to this collection altogether when the lip enters the chat. So I'll show y'all. First we have Spur Stick Suede Lip Liner in the shade Outlaw, okay? And it is the warmest, like rust pink when it gets on me. It's so warm. Like it's kind of giving Trixie Hater, you know? Which in and of itself is not a bad thing. It's just, it's a lot. It all becomes very specific, you know? Crazy creamy. Hope she puts out more colors in this because such a creamy formula. So that's what I like in a lip liner. I like it to kind of behave like a really intense lipstick that like wears a long time. So it's like I could fill in my lips entirely with this and it'd be a really pretty color. I'm not sure it would be a pretty color with this look, but it's not a bad color. But I honestly think that this is where, in the promo videos, it gets a little bit clownish because it's like, it just starts to get very red. I always say that like, this is the kind of color, it's kind of like Bite Beauty Chai, God rest her soul, where it's the closest that I can get to wearing red, and on me, it actually reads as a red lip. So this here is the lipstick that comes with the collection, and this is called Lucky Kiss Diamond Lip Glow, and again, it's in the shade Outlaw. And while I absolutely adore that color, altogether it's just a lot. And I will be the first to defend a metallic lipstick all day long, because if you throw a gloss, a clear gloss on top of a metallic lipstick, it takes on a quality that you can't get from anything else, from any like one product. But do you see how clown red it is on me and how it just, I mean, it's not bad, it's just so specific. I know when I'm editing, I hate myself how much I look at my monitor because that's where I see reality. You know what I mean? It's basically me checking my mirror to see how I feel about something, but this is what you're seeing. It's very different from what I'm seeing in my mirror lighting wise and everything. And that's why I'm constantly looking over there. It's basically me checking a mirror. So that's why. So like outside of the context of my entire face, like that's a gorgeous lip combination, but I want to pair it with like a neutral eye. You know what I mean? Like something where I didn't put all this glitter on, like before that when I had all just the browns. Great, fantastic. You know what I mean? It's just a lot altogether. And I think that that's the point. That's the point of a full concept collection, right? I haven't even put blush on yet, and it's whole lot, but it's like incredibly beautiful, incredibly beautiful. So we're gonna go for something really like nude and chill on my cheeks. One of my faves. I think I'm gonna go with the Bisou blush from Violette in Louise. First, I'm going to take a spoolie and get this mascara off. I wasn't sure how long I had to wait because this is not a tubing formula. I'm gonna throw on another coat of mascara real quick just to kind of test the theory. Yeah, they stay soft enough and it does build really effectively. But yeah, flipping that around in my hands makes me want to rip that thing off of there because it's like just really impossible to control in your non-dominant eye, you know? I mean, granted, your eyes aren't dominant. I'm saying like on the side, on my passenger side. It gives me an anxiety attack. All right, blush. Going in with my 112 here from BK. The singles are coming if they have not already arrived. Man, is that just the best nude blush on me. I love that so much. This is Louise. It's just so good at being a blush without adding drama. which I got enough drama going on right now. So yeah, the BK brushes that came out as the core collection expansion, I think you can still get a really good discount on the entire set of the core collection expansion if that's your gig, but the singles I think are either coming soon or released by the time this video is going live. The smell of these is just absolutely divine. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Little clear brow gel, and then we will get into talking about the ins and outs of the actual collection itself, my thoughts, and what have you. Kimiko Brow Sensei. Subtle but makes all the difference in the world. So this is the Isamaya Wildstar vibe. I dig it. I do. I like it because I think that the rest of my look is very Shania Twain and it's just like coming up to meet it. But under a lot of other circumstances, depending on what I'd be wearing, I'm not sure I'd want to be this draggy, you know? Because it's just such an entire vibe. So either way, I'll save those thoughts for the end. Let's talk about the collection herself. Lucky Kiss, the lipstick is $50. The Spur Stick, the lip liner is $26. Dazzle Up, the highlighter is $42. The Lash Lasso is $39. And the Wildstar palette is $105 alone. So you're saving $12 by getting the whole thing, all in the box and whatnot. So, you know, yes, you save a bucking bronco, if you will. I love the look that is on the website for the eyeshadow palette. It's very low key. It's very wearable and ethereal and like fairy core. It's just very pretty. Unleash the Untamed Wildstar palette. Pressed Pigment palette is a prairie glam rhinestone studded eyeshadow palette for the wild at heart, featuring 12 glistening shades for glamour-obsessed cowgirls and cowboys who dream of sorbet-colored sunsets and rodeo nights, presented in a gilded gold case. Gilded means gold. Embellished with rhinestones, each shade was selected by Isamaya to release your inner wild child. Apply with fingers, blend with a brush, apply on eyes, or paint on your face. No rules, no boundaries. Add water to pigments to intensify or use as a liner. Absolutely. That's the other thing that they kind of remind me of is the Thrive eyeshadows, the matte eyeshadows. They spread a lot more easily than that, but the intensity of the pigments and kind of just the way that they look in the pan, the way that they feel when you touch them, remind me a lot of those, the Thrive colors, you know, shadows of those same colors. And again, there is no labeling for the actual shades themselves, so like I still have no idea which ones are which. The Lash Lasso Lash Wrap Mascara, which I thought maybe being a lash wrap meant that they were going to make a tubing formula. It is not the case. Lush Volume and Sensual Curl. Lash Lasso is a thickening curling mascara that adds instant drama in just one sweep. The densely packed curved hourglass brush head coats lashes with inky black pigment using a proprietary plastic wrap technology, a blend of soft waxes and thickening agents that amplify even the thinnest, straightest of lashes. Pro-berry wax from Chinese lacquer tree keeps lashes feeling soft, fluffy, and touchable for up to 16 hours. They are really soft and fluffy. Housed in a rhinestone-studded gold case meant for displaying. Go ahead, get roped in. Made in Italy. Giddy Up Gleam Dazzle Up, the highlighter stick, is a moisture-boosting highlighter injected with glistening pearls. A sun shower for your skin. Now, I recently learned watching Trixie that pearls, like when there are actual pearls as the pigment, it's different from mica because they are more spherical, actual glitter pigments, and so they reflect the light more consistently, whereas mica is more of a jagged reflection. So there you go. Sweat, Shine, and Soft Fluorescence. Infused with skin conditioning ingredients like shea butter, jojoba oil, and retinol mimicking alfalfa complex to improve skin elasticity over time. A remedy for tired, dull, and overworked complexions. Swipe on cheekbones, above Cupid's bow, or anywhere else for a healthy, luminous sheen. Oh, there are 3 shades. There are 3 shades in the suede lip liner. Okay, they're all pretty darn red. Actually, Outlaw is like the medium one. so I'm not really that mad. Softest Suede Spur Stick is a silky smooth waterproof lip liner housed in a glistening gold tube worthy of a rodeo queen. The emollient-rich gel formula glides across even the driest of lips for a skip-proof moisture-locking effect. With buttery soft matte suede finish, Spur Stick delivers a super saturated dose of pigment in just one stroke. Glide across lips before or after lipstick application to define and plump. Blend in with fingers for a soft blurred effect. And the Diamond Lip Glow lipstick, again, comes in 3 darn shades. But again, I think that Outlaw is probably the one that I would have chosen anyway. Although Buck is pretty cool. It's like a golden brown. I kind of might have gone with that one. I did not know. I did not know. All right, Wild Glittering Free. Lucky Kiss wraps lips in hydrating shine and a dazzling glow. A lipstick inspired by the sun melting over the horizon with its dusk hues and Candescent glint. Infused with vitamin E to drench lips in hydration, each of the 3 shades feature a super slick a super slick formula featuring a 2-tone pearlescent finish that changes colors from every angle. The cushiony balm texture delivers a comfortable wear all day feel, while glittering pearl pigments reflect light from every angle. Wear alone or over your favorite lipstick. It's a nice topper. And for something that has as much glitter in it as it does, it's not in my teeth the way that the Chantecaille is. So let me give y'all my preliminary thoughts on this collection now that I have applied it all as I would apply makeup, not just trying to get a sense of the textures and things like that by like touching them and applying them, but the actual appearance of the collection all together in one look. All right, I'm gonna start with the eyeshadow palette because I think it's the most exciting one, and it's also the thing that I'm going to absolutely keep reaching for the most. Out of all of these, I dig the crap out of this. I mean, is this, again, the most original thing ever? No. I will, in a future video, pull a Haute Mess Tom and like compare this. Actually, Haute Mess Tom does it, and I've seen Hannah do it recently with the Lisa Eldridge palettes that she got. But I could swatch this against a lot of the palettes that I already have for individual shades, and like I can tell you right now, like this and probably, whoopsies, mirror khaki, this exists in my NARS Summer Unrated palette. Like I said, a lot of these remind me of, you know, Thrive shadows and things like that. And the entire concept here reminds me of a combination of the Urban Decay Stone Vibes palette and the Pat McGrath Utopian Dream palette. So that's going to be a valuable thing to swatch in, you know, the next videos that we do with this. I'll probably just do like a culminating final thoughts on like, you know, who it's for and whatnot. But this is just kind of my first impressions. But yeah, I think that this is a really cool collection of colors and textures that not only sell the fantasy of what she set out to do. You know, I feel like you can get this really cool, like spangly, a lot of different potential for different looks, although they are probably going to all lean very foily and glittery and a little bit kind of like messy, chaotic in a good way. But also, I just think it's darn pretty. You know, I just feel really, really pretty in it. And like, if it were me, I would go for like a nice nude lip with this. And that's just an incredibly wearable eye look, because even though the colors themselves are kind of like bright, you know, there's something really fun and still right within my comfort zone about them. I don't know. I mean, I think that you can wear a whole lot less than I put on as well. I think this is a lot more versatile of a palette than I gave it credit for initially. And also, again, like, I don't know about y'all, but my eyes always go towards the most challenging shades, and it makes my brain want to rule something out, like, you know, as an entire purchase. But like, if you do, like, try and just look past those, you have something, and I think that this is a good thing, that is very user-friendly and easy to experiment with, but also has not just the pop of blue gimmick. These are exciting. And I think that the other thing here to remember is like, they're sheer. The blue is a little bit heavier, you know what I mean? A chunkier of a pigment, but that purple is so sheer and thin and lightweight and almost just an iridescent topper. So I mean, I kind of want to say, like, don't sleep on it. I mean, it's expensive. It's obviously expensive. If the whole thing appeals to you, it's only if the whole thing appeals to you. That being the case, I definitely think that this is lovely. And I think it holds its own as as a, like as a concept and as a fantasy and as something that like feels like a complete thought from Isamaya, you know, that's very different from her previous collection in a really good way. That doesn't feel like a theme and variation. It doesn't feel like something that was kind of phoned in, you know? I really admire her ability to take something and just run all the way to the finish line and then, you know, around the corner off the horizon with it. The highlighter. This is, I am not a highlighter queen, you know that, but I'm a little lost on this one because it's difficult to get it to appear the way that it appears when you swatch it on bare skin with any makeup look. I feel like it's lost. I feel like all you're seeing right now is maybe a little bit of the dewy moisture that went from the stick to the brush to my skin, but none of the glitter moved. None of the glitter went from here and traveled to here. I am seeing absolutely no shimmer. I didn't see it when I put it on. And then when I put it like this, it did the same thing that the Merit one does and the same thing that the Westman Atelier one does, in that it's so slippy, it actually just picked the makeup back up off my cheeks, like my foundation. So I just not, to me, that's just not a winning product, you know? That's just not a winning formula. And I think that, you know, in concept, I think it's cool to have something that behaves almost like a really sophisticated body glitter, but it won't go on. It'll go on your body. It'll go on bare skin, but it won't go on top of makeup. And like, what's the point? Especially when I just got the ones from Rare Beauty in the mail. They're very different from that, but I think it's in a good way. Let's talk about the mascara briefly. Like, I don't know if you'll know this, but like once I'm in the territory of a non-tubing formula, I'm pretty easy to impress because, you know, it's not really a place I'm super specific about. I have okay lashes. If something is a little underwhelming, I'll say so, but like if it's buildable and it doesn't wear off immediately, then like I'm usually wowed. I'm not like, oh my gosh, it's giving me too much length and not enough volume and I want this, and I don't actually have a lot of really specific wants from a non-tubing mascara. I just want it to like not smudge everywhere, and if it doesn't smudge everywhere, I'm impressed. I'm like, ding ding, we have a winner. And you know, for how much is this? It's like $40? No, no, no. It's as good as your favorite drugstore mascara. And the horse on the top makes it outrageously difficult to use. Like this is, it's just not, it's not the vibe. I would have liked to see something that somehow like, I don't know, resembled a lat. How cool would it? No, that wouldn't work. I was thinking it'd be really cool if it had like a chain or something from the wand to the container so that it looked like they were connected like a, but I mean, a lasso doesn't have a chain. I don't know, it wouldn't work because you wouldn't want it just dangling when you're trying to put it on. But either way, this is not it. I am a very dexterous person and I have a lot of trouble with this. I'm like, nee, you saw me kind of casually jab myself in the eyeball with it. It's just, it doesn't work. And finally, the lip combos. So, I mean, I think that the way that she came out with 3 this time is really cool because I think they all do the same thing, but for different skin tones. There's like a much lighter pink, not lighter, but a brighter, more vivid, more saturated pink for people who are really trying to get that look, you know, on fairer skin. And then there's like a really beautiful deep brown that's gonna give you this same kind of rusty thing, but if you have more melanated skin, I think that that's awesome. I do think that she's right in all of her claims as far as the comfort of them, the way that this glides on and blends. I really like the actual formula of it. You know, $26, that's a lot for a lip liner. It is. I will probably check out more of her lip liners when she comes out with more shades in them because right now they're all pretty warm, but I am impressed with it just, you know, setting aside whether or not that price is fair to you for a lip liner. I still think that the formula is really pretty for my preference for a lip liner. I really like a super smooth, blending, creamy lip liner. I don't like a really stiff one that like is left over when my lipstick fades. That's it. It's not my preference. And this is something that I think is executed really well. It's so pretty in the tube. It has something that you don't see a lot. A lot of brands don't have, I feel like, the confidence to put something out that looks maybe this dated or like this campy. I think that this is the texture out of all of them that is like the campiest, because it really harkens back to the 80s, like really hard, you know? But when you put it on, it's so creamy that it holds its own. You know, she does say that you can top things with it, but I do want to throw like a clear lip gloss on top of it so that y'all can see what I'm talking about, because when you take something metallic like this and then you put something clear on top of it, it kind of changes everything. So this is just the Kosas Plump and Juicy, but like I have a lipstick from, look at that. I have a lipstick from Clinique. I think it's called Bamboo Pink, and it's the same, it's very similar, the way that it has like a metallic quality to it, and it looks really dated when you first put it on, and then you throw a gloss on top of it and everything changes. It's so modern and it's so sexy, and it's so much greater than the sum of its parts in terms of like what can be achieved with like one product doing that. And it's a lot more comfortable because this lipstick is actually really thin. So I think that I have my work cut out for me in terms of my like final thoughts video. It's going to be comparing everything to the other things in my collection. But I will say that like my initial thoughts prior to getting it in my hands have been wiped off the table, because it's just so much more me of an entire collection than I ever expected it to be. I think that the textures are great. I think that the formulas are great. And I just think that the price points are a little bit wild, Star, for what they are. And I am excited to really like dig in to my collection, to swatch it against everything and see what we come up with. So stay tuned for a final thoughts video on this at some point when I get a lot more experience with it. And I hope y'all enjoyed this. If you did, I hope you'll give it a rip-roaring thumbs up. Again, I've been watching too much Drag Race. I have been bedridden with a concussion, and I don't know which way is up right now. So thank you for bearing with Concussion Khaki, and I will throw another video up here that I think that you'll enjoy. I love y'all, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.